everybody, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from the Mountainside Homestead, where I'm going to be opening up some of my milk jugs today, some of my winter sowing experiments. We had our last, what's looking like in the next foreseeable forecast, our last really cold night. We're not expecting a heck of a lot more frost at this point, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get these milk jugs seedlings in the ground in the next week or so. So what I want to do is open them up and it'll give those seedlings inside an opportunity to readjust to the new humidity. It's not the same as hardening off, and if you guys want a video on hardening off, I'd be happy to do one, because I do have to do a bunch of hardening off for the stuff that's in the greenhouse that I'm going to be moving outside. Pain in the butt. If you do want a video on that, just let me know, because I'm going to be doing it, so might as well. The winter sowing is wonderful for stuff that's going to be planted outside, because I just have to open them and let them adjust instead of the whole in and out process. So let's look and see. I did a few experiments I did this year, and I want to also look at the results. So one of them was on whether or not it was better to use tuck tape versus duct tape. So let's see the difference between those and opening them up from a point of view of holding it firm and being able to use tuck tape to actually tape the jugs up versus duct tape. I definitely appreciated it a lot more from that perspective, but let's see what it's like opening it, okay? Because I know that duct tape can be difficult when you're trying to open them, and I think that the tuck tape is going to be easier, so we'll check on that. And the other thing we're going to check on is our snugs. They look like they've done really well, which is the seed snails inside the milk jug. So let's get started. We'll start opening some of these up. We are going to see some drooping. We're going to see some very sad seedlings for the first few days, but they will recover, okay? I know one thing I would not suggest that you do, though, is that you open up your milk jugs and immediately transplant. You're putting those poor little seedlings through too much shock at once if you do that. So this is a tuck tape. Oh, another thing I wanted to address, I know, folks, I've had really good germination rates here. Everything's been pretty successful. I have had one glaring failure, which is my chives. For some reason, my chives didn't come up this year, which is weird because that's usually a sure bet. So just keep that in mind, that as with all gardening, all planting, you're going to have sometimes things that just don't work as well as you hope. And I'm not going to let it get me down, because I do already have lots of chives going on around here. But everything else did really well, because I did make a point of keeping up on my watering once the stuff was starting to come through. You can see this is my hyssop here. It's starting to peek through. I would say I got about 95% germination rate on both the homesteads, with the glaring failure of chives on both. It's really interesting how that happens sometimes. So let's see if the tuck tape comes off without cutting. I brought scissors just in case, and how much easier it is or difficult it is compared to duct tape. Well, look at that. Yeah, that's what I suspected. This is way easier than taking off duct tape. In the past, I've often damaged seedlings trying to remove the duct tape. Look at that. So in here we have some, I believe this was hyssop. Yeah. And it looks like we got a little sorrel tag along, which is great. I can use that as well. But these are really nice, healthy seedlings. I'm going to stick them back. I know that we're in full sun here, but it should be okay because we're all grouped together and doing really well. If you're really concerned about it, maybe put it somewhere where you don't have as much sun. But over the years, I've decided that a lot of my seedlings, they just have to deal with tough love, because I do not have time to pamper babies around here, right? Yeah, we don't. So we're just going to put these back. They're nice and moist. That's one thing I've done a really good job of doing, is keeping them watered. That's really important. And first experiment, tuck tape is a go. I doubt I'll be using duct tape next year at all, because that was so much easier to take apart. Okay. So this is another one of my experiments with the snugs, all right? And it's a carrot. We'll do more about this later when I do actually unroll them and open them up in a week. But let's see how they did in terms of seedlings. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Tuck tape. Way to go, guys. It's like, honestly, never duct tape again. Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna let these adjust. But so far it's looking like I got lovely seedlings, and because they were planted in the snugs, I'm hoping that that is going to make them easier to separate. I guess we'll see when it's time to get them done, but so far it looks like the snugs have worked great. The weather hasn't really been good enough this year to put them out earlier than now, but I've got some good carrots started here. For opening your seedlings, as I said, you want to wait. Like, a lot of people open and close their jugs. I don't bother doing that, like, unless I open them too soon, and I have to close them at night. I've decided to make it one big job versus 16 little jobs of opening and closing, and I just open them all at once, usually 5 to 7 days before I want to plant. This is some lovely sorrel. It's done really well. It's hardy perennial. If you haven't tried sorrel yet, why not? It's a zone 3 hardy perennial, and tastes like lemon. It's so good. Looks like spinach, tastes like lemon. So for the next 5 to 7 days, I'm just going to keep an eye on the watering. I will have some very sad looking seedlings because they've just been, like, it's a beautiful little humidity chamber in here. Now I've opened it up and they're going, ah! They'll shrink up, they'll look sad. But honestly, just leave them alone. Make sure they're well watered for 5 to 7 days. And then at that point, we transplant. And I'll do a video about transplanting and how to remove them from here for you as well. And there's other videos on the channel that show that. But just do not transplant the day, or even I don't even like to do it the next day. I usually give it a few days time to acclimatize. You don't want to shock these little babies and have them go through the exposure to the lack of humidity and transplanting all at once. I'm going to keep working away here. Do let me know if you have questions about winter sowing or the greenhouse in the sky, or any other questions you have about gardening in harsh conditions. I'm also going to be doing some more spruce tip foraging today, and I might even check on the rhubarb patch and see what we can come up with there. So have a good one, guys. Keep those questions coming, and as always, I hope you take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.